2018, a crack YouTube unit was sent to social media prison by an algorithm for the crime they didn't commit. These producers promptly escaped from maximum security social media stockade to the internet underground. Today, still wanted by social media, they survive as producers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the Smash Team.
All right, it is live, folks. Here's the colored magnetogram the last 6 hours or so, doing the ultra early edition, because sometimes I get up at midnight. First rule of being Batman is we don't talk about being Batman. Looking at Sunspot 2740 here, or attempting to. Now, the Sunspot group has now increased in complexity. It is now a beta class, as there is a new umbral field north of the original one. So we're talking about someplace around this area up here. And we're going to look at the intensity gram in a moment. Bring out the epic pen. Thanks for joining us, Kahlo Jan, and for your generous donation. All right. So there's the 171 angstroms view. So there we see a bit of opposite polarity umbral development. Zoom in as far as I can on that and still have it on the screen. And let's actually go to the photos here. Solar Ham does have a breakdown. We're going to show the breakdown in a moment. Bring up the magnetic lines here. There's the magnetic lines at 193 angstroms. And we see there still is a bit of a coronal hole situation going on in this area over here. And there's the purple. There's the purple arrows that everybody's been following. Cheers. All right, let's move on here as there's quite a bit of stuff to cover. Thanks, Smash Team, for viewing the videos. Talk bikes should be part of your prepping plan. If you're planning for the ultimate grid down scenario situation, aka the zombie apocalypse, have a bike in your collection. If you suck at pedaling, maybe even go for an electric one. Yes, they're pricey, but boy, oh boy, are they amazing. Anyway, check out veloshop.net if you're thinking of buying something. And if you're thinking on learning something, continue to watch our channel, as you may discover the difference between your ass and a hole in the ground. There are a lot of folks online that seem to have a bit of trouble with this distinction. If you'd like any original memes, just email me, smashomash@gmail.com, and I'll send you the meme. We'll put it on the website later. All original, all the time, folks. Now, if you've never heard of nextdoor.com, check it out. Nextdoor.com. Very simple. What's the point? To build a network in your neighborhood. Now, the one that I built, I'm the actual lead for where I am because there was no next door neighborhood where I am. And this thing just runs itself, folks. They will send paper postcards to folks that don't have internet access. And, or obviously, if you don't know their email address, they will actually send paper postcards free of charge. So I think we've got about half of the houses in our local neighborhood are on here. It allows you to do things like trade things with your neighbors really easily. For instance, a lot of times when somebody in our neighborhood is going to trash a dresser or something like that, they'll put it out a day beforehand and say, here's where it is. Or, hey, my kids have a lemonade stand. That just recently actually happened. If you'd like to sponsor a cyclist, I've got ideas of who. That would be me. And there's links in the description if you feel like it. Or if you want to sponsor the whole team, I've only got $5,435 more to raise before summer begins to get some serious riding underway on my new Felt AR3. Also, follow us on Patreon. There's going to be some additional tiers and some actual content here when we get around to making some, which will happen by the end of the year. We started the long, arduous process of starting a nonprofit organization whose mission is to assist, study, and report on the ongoing formation of a unified theory of physics, to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space weather and Earth effects, to connect to and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach by doing things like calling into national radio shows and local ones. 4, to demonstrate cutting-edge proof of concept solutions to problems. 5, to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, including but not limited to the sciences on the screen. To assist mankind by preventing them from confusing their ass and a hole in the ground. I mean, advancing the study of predictive phenomenon in order to optimize value, reduce risk liability, save lives and resources, and adapt no matter what the adversity is. And lastly, to not be ossified in our beliefs and to treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion. We do expect to be a properly filed nonprofit organization by the end of the year. So look for that to happen as part of our New Year's Eve celebration in a few months. Next, we'll look at the real-time solar wind here. And let's hope there's more data than that. And let's play some more original music while this attempts to load. Did I click on it? It's quite a mystery. I feel like Fox Mulder. This track's called You, Me, Us, by the way, from 2009. And it is available at SoundClick. Soundclick.com/Golden Cat Productions. And I guess we have no BTBZ, so let's just look at the solar wind density, which is not loaded properly. I guess I'll just hit refresh. All right, that looks better. We did see a connection here with that coronal hole for a moment, and it could happen again at any time, folks. So that's an earthquake risk continuing. See a very low solar wind density at only 3.75 protons per cubic centimeter, and solar wind speed 376. That's kilometers per second, which is kind of quick. If you're interested in monitoring this all day, it is in the links below this video in the description. What's up in space? SpaceWeather.com's up in space. They've got a lot of spaced out viewers too. And what do we have today? I think that's a 233 angstroms image, folks. Anyway, they're talking about the Richter scale of solar flares, so let's take a look. They got a huge reference section on this site, so check it out, spaceweather.com. 10.7 centimeter radio flux is up to 74, so well above forecasts, and for that we and our growing plants thank you. Let's check out more data. Which has been conveniently compiled for your convenient convenience. At spaceweathernews.com. So we did see an M-class flare. The largest X-ray flare in months. So there you go. We just barely hitting the M range there, as noted on spaceweather.com. Magnetometer is looking pretty smooth, and the KP is at 1. Now, we did see a little bit of high energy electron flux. The normal electrons, as seen here, we do see some disparities there, and that is associated with that flare. So check that out. And that's about what you would expect for you new viewers out there. And thanks, new subscribers, by the way. This means noon, and this means midnight, local time for the satellites, which are the GOES 14 and the GOES 15. This is kind of the normal electrons, and then down here we've got the relativistic electron flux. I believe it's still here. There's that. We just did see a spike recently in this. So that's, let's see. Oh, that needs updating. All right. Anyway, there's the electron flux, and we are expecting a high-speed coronal hole wind stream. And we see a pretty significant charging disparity here. Pretty discharged on the dark side, and pretty charged on the light side. At least as per the amount of activity we've been seeing recently. So again, the 10.7 centimeter radio flux back up to 74. I believe the forecast is for about 62 or something like that right now. We see very weak auroras as we don't see the coronal hole wind stream arriving yet. Let's look at even more data. How about the X-ray imager? We're going to look at the Enlil prediction also here. And welcome, Krelboyne Kip. What does the name mean? Krelboyne Kip. That's quite a name. I like it. Anyway, here's the X-ray imager. We're going to see an M-class X-ray flare here. Quite short-lived, but the most powerful X-ray flare we've seen in months. And there's that flare. we'll be looking at various different instruments in a moment. All right, we'll look at the Enlil spirals here. As I thought there was a prediction for an increased wind stream according to NOAA. So we're not seeing that. We're seeing a very weak solar wind. And looking to see what the flare situation is. No ejecta shown on this yet. So look for this to be updated throughout the day today, especially if there was some ejecta. And it looks like we see a pretty high electron flux here. Look at the total electrons. Please let me type. Here we go. Put this back to where it belongs before we move on to the Gong 2. And we expect to see some magnetic perturbations on the Gong 2 also, as Sunspot 2740 is now taking charge of the local magnetic region. We see actually a surprisingly low electron flux here. So we should see very minimal GPS errors, even around the equator. So good performance for people's GPSs. Here's the Gong 2 data. It's 1 hour and 27 minutes old. And we see some very strong field force lines here, as we would expect with this fairly large sunspot. The real news about the sunspot, though, is the progression of that North Pole polarity associated region. So that second umbral core is pretty serious. Let's go to solarham.net for a minute here to show you there. What the heck? There we go. So we see we've got beta delta class now. And the new core appears to be in this region. Still very small, but something that could progress very suddenly. So something to keep your eye on throughout the day. The fact that this produced an M flare already is an indication of an uptick in activity here. Also, I would note that this field in the front like this is a reverse polarity situation, which makes this into a cycle 25 sunspot. Now it's not going to be a full-fledged one, but we notice that the orientation between the fields when this first came around was at a diagonal angle like this. Usually the polarity difference is like this. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And again, this umbra is the relevant portion of this sunspot. Let's look at the LASCO images. See if there's any ejecta associated with that M-class flare. Not apparently, but we're going to have to see more views than that to be sure. So take this moment to head out to the ISWA. I get to decide when the segments happen on the fly, folks, on the fly. Let's actually play some more music here. I am able to view the chat right now, folks. I'm just not able to do quite enough things at once. So I will get to your chats in a moment. So bear with me as we look at the space weather beacon. Going to give us an idea of if there was ejecta and where it's headed. Somehow I don't think anybody's covering this as quickly as I am, but take a look. Looks like a whole lot of zilch. This is something to keep an eye on throughout the day, folks. And when I say eye on, the pun was intentional. Anyway, I would note that there is some ejecta. You can see right there. It's right at the beginning, right at the end of the video. And we have the maximum resolution here, so this is something to check out. In fact, if our viewers want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description right now. By the way, this track is called Tilt-A-Whirl, and I think it's available nowhere. All right. Let's look at a star chart. Here's what it's like at my location, folks. I like to draw the ecliptic, by the way. We got a Jupiter and a Saturn right now, although we have cloudy skies, so I can't see it. Now, for those of you who don't know your anus from a black hole in the sky, here's the location of your planets. Not your planets in the sense that you own them. Actually, we're more like there, as it is the 6th. As Mercury and Venus conjoin, I play another track. How about Hemi's here? Anyway, welcome to the Planets Today mobile version, as I view it on a desktop computer. I'll advance the solar system a week here, as Earth creeps up on the gas giants. And Mercury blows past Venus like it's standing still. For any of you folks not aware, I know we've got some new subscribers. Stereo A is located about here. Stereo B is located about here. Oh, you're seeing behind the scenes stuff now, folks. You're going to see all the glitz and glamour of having a YouTube channel. All the glitz and glamour. Oh my goodness. Are they allowed to even see this? I don't even know. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Showing people how the sausage is made. We're going to skip the total electron content since we opened it a second time. And we're going to move on to magnetosphere movies. We're going to only view the pressure today as it is weak. Actually, we'll actually view the density too. Why not? You got to mix it up, you know. Folks don't want to get bored watching the videos. Folks definitely want to know the difference between their ass or a burrow or a donkey and a hole in the ground. It could mean life or death, folks. Here's the density, which is quite low. Now, in previous videos, we have shown the density at 0.1 proton per cubic centimeter. Right now, it's not all that low. It's at about 3 or 4. And we're just going to skip the velocity because, frankly, I'm bored by it. Next, we'll look at geospace ground perturbations. I know all you pole flip people are on the edge of your seat right now. Anyway, there's a situation at the poles, looking down the Earth's Z fields. Yes, the Z fields, folks, the Z fields. The sun has them, the Earth has them, galactic jets have them. In fact, galactic jets are them. Here's a view from the globe. As the South Pole migrates toward Western Australia, the main perturbations in the North Pole are around Greenland and northern Canada. Not over the North Pole located over Siberia. If you're not aware, there are 3 poles on the planet, 2 in the north, 1 in the south. Don't freak out, folks. Don't freak out. Just stick with us and watch cosmic rays as we show you Apatity, little downtick there, as well as Barentsburg. How about Athens? Often showing totally different data, as it's on a different spot on the planet. We see a large spike. If you're feeling confused in Athens right now, you may have been cosmic ray fluxed. Next, Mexico City. Nothing too special there. How about Moscow? If your panties are bunching up over that, unbunch them. How about Oulu in Antarctica? There's Oulu, Finland. Thanks, viewer, for telling me how to pronounce this several months ago. For that, we thank you. Here's DOMC Antarctica. And there's DOMB Antarctica. Where did those cosmic rays come from, folks? Was it from Cygnus X3? Probably. All right, let's not get too controversial now. Let me bring out the chat so folks can see that I'm seeing the chat. So folks can see that I'm seeing the chat. Actually, let's play another track here. I'd ask for requests, but we're not sophisticated enough. We try to make it as interactive as possible, folks. I would invite you to check out the Galaxy Zoo project at zooniverse.org, the largest citizen science project in the world. Will you be the citizen scientist to classify this galaxy? I don't care, but if you are, congratulations. Follow us on Facebook. Now, we've had some issues with Facebook. We're not huge fans, but follow us anyway if you like. It may help to gain us 1 or 2 views, as we seem to be unable to reach 1,400 subscribers. I guess there's not enough information, or maybe it's not information dense enough, or maybe I, your host, am a little too dense. I do have some opinions on Facebook. I'm not really a fan myself. I am a builder of some pretty good memes, as I have hundreds of them. As a published poet, I am familiar with the concept of compactness. So I'm not really a fan of computer algorithms that don't know your website's ass from a hole in the ground. Because a lot of algorithms out there are, how do you say it in English? garbage. Like there's a lot of software that's, I don't know, what would you say? Not well written. Follow us on Minds, the social media. That won't throttle you or spy on you or anything of the sort. Follow me on Instagram. This is more of a me than an us. This is not a collaborative effort at all. This is just me screwing around, doing stuff like this.
Oh man, there's nothing better after a long solo bike ride in the wind than a nice bottle of Horseshoe brand peach hot sauce.
Not a collaborative effort at all. Oh, also follow us on Twitter. I think I misidentified Twitter as Minds. There you go. Follow us on Twitter. But don't tweet at me, as I will not respond. Some of the music's on SoundCloud, some of it's on SoundClick. And if you want more, send me an email. Maybe I'll send you a track for free. Who knows? Let's look at earthquakes, as we saw a recent coronal hole magnetic connection. And I'm very interested to see if that set off an earthquake. All right. I guess I can handle USGS. I'm going to try. Oh, geez. USGS. What are we going to do with the USGS? We're going to be excited when you monitor volcanoes, I guess. Papua New Guinea gets a 5.2 at depth. Man, we see an uptick there. Check it out, folks. Look at the swarm. .0 at Indonesia, 4.2 at Indonesia, 4.4 at Indonesia, 4.6 at the Philippines. Man, that's a swarm, baby. That's serious. Dag, 4.6 at depth. This one's at 541 kilometers. 4.7, 4.3 at Nicaragua. Heads up Central America. And we ran out of music again. How can this be? How can this be? I have hundreds of original songs. How can it be? It's because I'm playing them one at a time. That's why it is. All right. Here's a 4.6 at El Salvador. 4.4 at Indonesia. At Sinabang? Does that mean it's at the volcano? Interesting. Check it out. Wow. All right. Let's move on here. We don't want this thing to be too long. Although we're doing it extra early, so we can make it a little longer. For your critiquing pleasure. Jeez, a whiz. And I've completely lost my place now. All right, let's just start here. How about a 4.4? Oh, there we are. Here's a 4.7 in Indonesia. Here's a 5.5 at the Philippines, much farther north than the rest. So big uptick in activity around the Philippines and Indonesia. Heads up. Anybody viewing from that area, leave a comment. Let us know if you felt an earthquake. 4.9 at the Western Indian Antarctic Ridge, due south of Western Australia. Heads up South Pole. Here's a 5.0 of Vanuatu at depth. 4.6 south of the Kamchatka Peninsula. No other quakes of note. Okay, let's look at pressure maps as we see some extreme weather hitting the area. We're running out of memory again, folks. Come on, windy.com. And by the way, if anybody just heard that noise, that was my alarm going off to tell me to wake up. Normally I would wake up at this time, but I'm already awake and I've already done show prep. Anyway, here's the pressure maps around Indonesia and the Philippines. And let's put this at the current spot since I didn't even hit play. Thanks, windy.com, for trying to take control. Here's the current situation. Let's let this advance from right now. We're looking for anomalous lows that skirt plate boundaries, folks. Yeah, there's some funky weather going on. I don't even know. I don't follow the weather enough in this area, but that's a mess. That's all I can say. Be on alert for earthquakes. That is a mess. I seriously can't spend any more time on this because there is too much stuff to cover. Have an earthquake plan, folks. Have an earthquake plan. I don't know what else to say. Be an asset instead of a liability in the event of a disaster. Because if you're not a Minuteman, who's going to be a Minuteman? Pardon all the gunfire. I know it's impolite to have a lot of gunfire going on in the background. It sounds like a legitimate gunfight there between AK-47s and M4 carbines. Just saying. Now it sounds like a Taliban ambush being foiled. All right, so we see a 12,000-foot ash plume there at Kamchatka, whatever the hell it's called. I don't speak Russian, do you? If so, leave a comment. All right, I think I already drank too much coffee today. By the way, let me take this moment to share a coffee recipe. You take espresso, you take cocoa powder, cayenne pepper, and coconut oil, organic coconut oil. I guess I got to include the word organic there. And mix that together with a little bit of lemon juice for your traditional Andean beverage. If you want to be as amped as I am at 2 o'clock in the morning, drink that before you drink your regular coffee, which I think I've forgotten and left downstairs. Next to all those indoor tomatoes we've been growing. All right, so again, thanks for joining us, everybody. This live stream is going to continue for quite a bit yet, despite low memory. Let's hope we don't crash the system, as we've got way too much stuff going on. I should probably shut down Epic Pen, but in fact, we're going to do that. Before this thing crashes, check it out. We got screen effects turned on here. We got to have it turned off. Krell was in the gifted class and Malcolm in the middle like a nerd. So you're Krell Boyne? I see. Anyway, welcome everybody. Again, thanks for commenting. I appreciate it. Coffee, but no algorithms, huh? Yeah. Well, you know, if you start putting cocoa in your coffee, you may find yourself licking the coffee mug. But you probably won't write any algorithms that lick anything else, if you know what I mean. we're keeping this thing right on the verge of being FCC illegal. So we're going all the way up to the line and dancing on it and not quite falling on the wrong side, if you know what I mean. Never tell me I sound like Mr. MBB333 again, because I don't spend any time looking at nonsense. No earthquakes. Yeah. Well, that's good. Earthquakes, by the way, I'm terrified of earthquakes, folks. I've never experienced one, even though I've been in several. I just never felt one actually occur. And that makes them even weirder because I've been in places where there were significant ones and I didn't feel them because I was like walking across a hallway and things. So it's very odd. I saw the toilet water shifting back and forth, but I didn't feel the earthquake itself because I was opening an office door at the time. It's so weird. It's so weird. We're going to go to weather in a minute. We're going to have the weather as a normal segment here, so don't worry. Yeah, well, I used to follow Mr. MBB333, and I think he might have banned me. I'm not sure if I'm banned or not. I might be banned because I comment a lot of times because there's so much nonsense covered on that channel. Oh, look at the sun shining through a cloud. Oh, look at lens flare. Oh my gosh, is it Nibiru? Who knows? It's not Nibiru. That's not a thing. If there was a planet, we'd see the planet. Just saying. How about some more tracks? Let's get deep into the synth. Deep into the synth, folks. So, Shivaluch is back to erupting again. And this is the last stratospheric volcano we've seen. With Shivaluch, it produced a 50,000 foot, I think a 54,000 foot ash plume about, what was that, 3 weeks ago? Now back to erupting again. Explosive activity continues. These are all global cooling effects, by the way, folks. Abiko producing a 5,000 foot. That's back on the list. Sakurajima, Krakatau. Dag. Vona. Vona. Oh my goodness, there's been a Vona. Does anybody know what the hell that means? If so, please comment. I don't know if the link is clickable or not. What's the point of this? Did this do anything? It's a Vona. Oh my goodness, it's a Vona. All right, let's just move on, as that makes no sense. Damn. All right, well, that's a volcanic uptick. So Krakatau's back at it. Takono's back on the list. 7,000 foot plume there. Revenador is on the list despite no emissions observed. Sabancaya producing a 26,000 footer. I wouldn't do the Fosbury flop over that one, as I would end up inside the caldera. And Planchon Peteroa continuously emitting. Son of a beehive. By the way, I want a beehive really badly, so I'm going to build one this year, maybe. Son of a beehive. All right. Let's get to the AccuWeather Doppler, as Texas is getting hit again. Shout out to Texas. And shout out to the browser that is surviving the memory failures. Brave browser. Holla. Holla at your brave browser, yo. Holla at your brave browser. Brave browser be hotter than the hot sauce I drink for breakfast. Son of a beehive. All right. There's the US Doppler radar, courtesy AccuWeather.com. Man, oh man. Oklahoma and Kansas getting it again. And check it out, Southern Misery, you are in the crosshairs again. And it's snowing in Montana. Snowing in Montana. Let us, if we have any viewers in Montana, please leave a comment and let us know how hot it is there. And let us know if you've decided to curtail your carbon dioxide emissions because it's so hot in Montana. Once again, Texas and Oklahoma getting pounded by lightning on the night side portion of the planet. Discharge much, anybody? Discharge much? Springfield, it's going to miss you. Your storm path is about Kansas City. Kansas City might get hit. Let's look at the water vapor map for a more definitive data set, shall we? How many times do you have to click? Wow, what a convergence line that is. Look at that. That is going to be nasty, folks. That is a lot of wet air aloft. We prefer to use the word wet over moist, although we challenge Google to transcribe everything that we say and then to do a DuckDuckGo search to figure out what we've said to get an objective search result. Type in the word Eric Schmidt and then type in the word Hillary Clinton and find out if they had an affair. That's, you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. 15 centimeters of snow in Calgary yesterday, reported by Terrence Mooney. You're driving right now? That's amazing. You're watching the live stream while driving. Dude, that is out of control. You're getting the ultra close-up for that one. I don't know how you're doing it safely. I'm not going to ask, as I'm a professional driver. Oh, geez. You're driving from Missouri to Arkansas. That's just unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Well, here's the water vapor map for what you're driving into. That is so cool. I gotta say, I'm still amazed occasionally. You're gonna miss it. You're gonna get a light show. You're gonna drive right past it, man. Check it out. Oh boy. All right, we're gonna do a bonus view here. We're gonna go to the shortwave for once. This extra long edition brought to you by me and our sponsors. Anyway, there's a shortwave radar, and you're gonna have pretty smooth sailing, man. I'm not sure how far you got to go through Arkansas, but you are going to be good to go. What part won't get rain? Probably the northern part. Pretty hard to say, though. Let's go back to the water vapor one more time as it shows us more information. Again, for you new viewers, if you're not familiar with the water vapor map, get yourself. I'm going to do a video eventually about which favorites I use in my mobile apps, but really you could use the windy.com app. It is super good. Super good. Windy.com. I mean, anyway, there's a water vapor map again. This dry air is going to serve to push this a little bit to the east. So northern Missouri might not get any rain at all. Let's move on because this thing is getting long by now. And oh my gosh, what happened? We missed the That's What She Said segment. And welcome, Manuela. Just make sure this is refreshed so you can see the warnings, as we've got some economic warnings toward the end of the video, which is where we are located toward the end of the video. So the flood risks have subsided a little bit, but there's a lot of destruction out there. There's a lot of delayed plantings, and there's a lot of crop losses around the whole planet. You may want to check out iceagefarmer.com/map. But in the meantime, let's go to a global warming update. Oh my gosh, there's no, oh wait, that's in the ocean. Let's check over here. Greenland, more than 5 meters of snow. It looks like we got, what is this now? Let's find some other spots here. How about 56.7 inches there in Montana? Shout out Montana. Is it snowing where you are? And oh man, the planet looks hot. That northern hemisphere, son of a beehive. It's burning up out there, folks. Seems a little snowy. Doesn't it seem kind of snowy to you? Just checking. All right. Anyway, let's move on here. About zerohedge.com. S&P futures plummet as China said to cancel Washington trade trip. So there's a support level in the S&P at 2890. Something to keep an eye on throughout the day. Not to be confused with the ions that are coming out of the sun. And we don't need to leave links to the article, as it's the headline at zerohedge.com. There's also some other bad news. And frankly, I don't remember what it is. But I'm going to scroll down. Oh, here's one. Warmonger Bolton announces carrier strike group deployed in message to Iran. And it's going to be a message to your wallet, causing inflation, as the government attempts to pass a bill for $2 trillion in stimulus spending. If you think that's a good idea, well, I don't know what to tell you, because it's a stupid idea. And my idea is this: self-sufficiency. The total concept of mountain bike racing, which is where I got my start in the sport, which brings me to my next slide, which is "E oppresso liber," the motto of United States Special Forces, which translates from the Latin to "from the oppressed, the free." So, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is, if you're sitting around in the worst situation you ever saw in your life, and you're wondering when the cavalry is going to show up, newsflash, you're the cavalry. Let's look at some more sun views, as we're going to have an M-class flare, which we don't normally do, but today we shall. So let's look at 304 at full res. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. we do appreciate the interaction as it makes the live feed more interesting. Please excuse me for one moment while I read the comments. How's that light show going there, Krellborn Kip? Actually, don't type, Krellborn Kip, since you're driving. We appreciate you tuning in, though. That's what she said, huh? You know, it's hard to include enough statements about bulges to have a That's What She Said segment. It's pretty tough. I don't want to step on the toes of the office. You know, them is some good dudes. Korgrog Grogo, that infrastructure bill is socialism, baby. I don't know what's in it. I'll bet it's about 6,000 pages long, though. How about another original meme for you here? How about an original meme? Let's see if I can get it on the screen here. Maybe it'll get me banned from YouTube. Who knows? I don't know if it's going to load or not. I got a Liz Warren meme, though. You better believe I do. I don't know if it's going to show anything or not.